I request everyone to please keep their mobile phones on silent mode. We're about to begin with the event. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I request everyone present here to kindly rise for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता
Thank you, everyone.
In an ever-evolving world, organizations are recognizing the imperative need of embracing diversity, fostering equity, and promoting inclusion at the workplace. It is not just a buzzword, but a strategic imperative for businesses looking to thrive in an increasingly global and interconnected marketplace. Organizations that prioritize diversity, equity, and inclusion stand to benefit from enhanced creativity, better decision making, and increased competitiveness in the global market. By implementing practical strategies and fostering an inclusive culture, businesses too can create an environment where every employee feels valued and empowered to contribute their best, ultimately leading to a more successful and harmonious workplace.
We are all here for a conclave on embracing diversity, equity, and inclusion at workplace. And through this conclave, our mission is to create avenues for far-reaching conversations on the most critical workplace issues globally.
Ladies and gentlemen, I, Sukirti Nigam, student of MBA Semester 3,
and I, Divya Arora, student of MBA Semester 1, feel privileged in welcoming you all on behalf of our dais to the 6th edition of Manthan, the HR Conclave 2023. We are honored to have with us today the catalysts of the HR fraternity. We would like to extend a warm and hearty welcome to our esteemed guests, Ms. Manisha Wadhwa, DGM and HUD Customer Service at Tata Power Delhi Distribution Limited, Mr. Parikshit Kochar, Senior Manager Recruitment at Byju's, who also happens to be the moderator of the session. Ms. Seema Singh, Global Head Human Resource at Euro-Exim Bank. Mr. Rajiv Kumar, Vice President and Head Human Resources at Electrify. Ms. Ruku Arora, Director, Enterprise Business Services at Walmart Global Tech. Mr. Arnab Kumar Das, Vice President and Head Human Resources at Ceasefire Industries Limited. We also welcome respected Dean Madam, Professor Dr. Namita Garg. In charge Training and Placement Department, Dr. Tanuja Saroha. Course Coordinator, MBA and BBA, and respected faculty members.
Before we move further, we would like to apprise you all about Rukmini Devi Institute of Advanced Studies. The roots of this institution go back to the year 1986, when a society named Seth Pokharmal Educational Society was established by late Shri K.C. Garg and his wife, Mrs. Anita Garg, with the aim to serve the society by imparting quality education to children. The stepping stone towards this effort was the foundation of Rukmini Devi Public School in Pitampura, which perpetuated the name of the revered father, Seth Pokharmalji, and their respected mother, Srimati Rukmini Devi ji, who were having their vision for education of masses in India. Through its concerted effort, the society has created institutions of international standard that impart quality education right from the kindergarten stage to postgraduate level programs at affordable prices. Seth Pokharmal Educational Society operates several institutions of repute under its umbrella. Rukmini Devi Public School Junior Wing, Rukmini Devi Public School Pitampura, Rohini and Sonipat, Rukmini Devi Kalat Kala Kendra, Rukmini Devi College of Education, and Rukmini Devi Institute of Advanced Studies. We take honor in sharing that Rukmini Devi Institute of Advanced Studies is accredited with A grade by the prestigious body of NAC. RDIS is also a category A+ institute judged by SFRC, Government of NCT Delhi. The institute has been awarded the highest category A grading by the Joint Assessment Committee of GJSIPU and Department of Higher Education, Government of NCT Delhi. The institute is ISO certified and is run under the aegis of Seth Pokharmal Educational Society. The institute is an active member of MDSA, CII, CEGR, DMA, ICT Academy, NHRDN, DELNET, British Council Library, and has also signed a memorandum of understanding with the University of Cambridge, UK, ICE Academy, UK, Gunadarma University, Indonesia, MSME Technology Development Center, PPTC, Agra, Ministry of MSME, Government of India, and Infinite Sum Modeling, USA. The institute currently offers BBA and MBA courses.
To invoke the blessings of Goddess Saraswati, may I now request all the dignitaries to kindly come forward for the lighting of the lamp.
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपो हरतु मे पापं सन्ध्यादीपनमोऽस्तुते ओ दीपब्रह्मरूपस्त्वं ज्योतिषां प्रभुरव्ययः ओ दीपब्रह्मरूपस्त्वं ज्योतिषां प्रभुरव्ययः आरोग्यं देहि पुत्रांश मतिं स्वच्छां हि मे सदा
Thank you, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, let us introduce you all to our guests for the HR Conclave 2023.
We have with us today Ms. Manisha Wadhwa, DGM and HOD Customer Service at Tata Power Delhi Distribution Limited. As a highly qualified company secretary and law graduate, Ms. Wadhwa possesses an impressive background spanning over 18 years in customer relations and management. Madam's career has been defined by an unwavering passion for customer service and a deep commitment to excellence. Ms. Wadhwa has consistently demonstrated her ability to enhance customer satisfaction and loyalty, leveraging her exceptional skills in team leadership, strategic planning, and process optimization. Her proactive approach to identifying and addressing customer pain points has resulted in numerous successful digital, customer-centric initiatives tailored to diverse customer segments. Madam's contribution extends beyond corporate boundaries, as she has played a crucial role in designing social and commercial initiatives for underprivileged slum areas within TPDDL. Her exceptional contribution in empowering women in these communities helped earning the prestigious Tata Innovista Award for the organization. Recognized for her dedication, Ms. Wadhwa has also been serving as an external assessor for Tata companies under the Tata Affirmative Action Program, further underscoring her passion and commitment to making a positive impact. Thank you for being with us today, ma'am.
Also joining us today is Mr. Parikshit Kocher, Senior Manager Recruitment and Legal Matters at Byju's. A gleeful, contented personality, Mr. Parikshit Kocher is a seasoned speaker. Soars out of talking and convincing people into things, has polished his professional traits such that as Senior Manager Recruitment and Legal Matters at Byju's. Sir is the man one would reach out to when all doors the company closes for settling legal matters. Sir has been with the company for 12 years now and has closely experienced different shades of ups and downs as a part of the core member of the team. He comes with a total of 20 years of experience in the field of sales, customer service, and now HR. Mr. Kocher loves to steal time to be with nature. His choice of being a bird watcher has turned out to be an attractive hobby for him. Not to forget his passion for long trips on his own field, he has touched upon the usually untouched terrains of India. Life is beautiful and fulfilling, isn't it? One just needs to live with that passion to believe in it. This has been his motto for the 45 years of his life. Thank you for your presence today, sir.
We have with us today Ms. Seema Singh, Global Head Human Resources at Euro Exim Bank. With over 3 decades of experience in various domains such as human resource management and development, administration, profit center management, business development, client servicing, audit and inspection, marketing and finance, Madam had been working as Chief Human Resources Officer and Chief Finance Officer at India Post Payments Bank till October 2022. Currently, Madam is appointed as Global Head HR at Euro Exim Bank. Madam has been part of founding 2 teams of 2 public sector banks, Bharatiya Mahila Bank and India Post Payments Bank. She has strategic experience in the areas of workforce planning, succession planning, employee relations, talent management, employee learning and development, performance management, and other related fields. Madam has also been instrumental in building a performance-driven culture and has successfully managed large-scale projects. Madam has also been the Principal Officer Anti-Money Laundering under the PMLA rules for more than 5 years. She was also the General Manager, HR and Administration and Operations at Bharatiya Mahila Bank and carries experience of equal magnitude at Punjab National Bank. Interestingly, Ma'am also holds an MSc in Physics from Lucknow University and has also completed JAIIB and CAIIB from Indian Institute of Banking and Finance, Mumbai. We welcome you, Madam.
Also joining us today is Mr. Rajiv Kumar, Vice President and Head Human Resources at Electrify. Sir is a seasoned HR leader with 25 years of versatile experience in HR across large enterprises like Bharti Airtel, Edison Technologies, Interglobe Technologies, and niches like Verint Systems. Sir has spearheaded diverse workforce, people practices, and strategies and culture building initiatives. Sir has also successfully managed all aspects of HR, including mergers and acquisitions, and quality processes like ISO, PCMM, etc. Sir is a passionate senior HR professional with extensive experience across all aspects of HR, including strategy and solutions, offshoring, and key HR systems like compensation and benefits, performance management, employee engagement, talent development and acquisition, among many others. Sir is known for cultural transformation and scaling up the organization as he helps to achieve goals through people and strategy. Sir has created awareness on inclusion within organization and driven this through workshops, forums for identified groups, communication, and campaign, etc. We welcome you, sir.
We have with us today Ms. Ruku Arora, Director, Enterprise Business Services at Walmart Global Tech. Madam Ruku Arora is the Director for Indirect Procurement Services pillar in EBS. She leads operational procurement, supplier onboarding, contracts management, and product technology teams. Through cross-functional expertise, strong governance, and a focus on operational excellence, Madam's team delivered immense value and cost savings to the EBS function in Walmart US. Madam also serves as the chairperson of the Pride Associate Resource Group at Walmart Global Tech in India. Her commitment to diversity and inclusion. As an out and proud leader, she also represents Walmart in various industry forums as well as panels, where she passionately talks about how to develop and foster a sustainable culture of inclusion. She strongly believes that an inclusive culture encourages associates to contribute to their fullest potential, helping us unlock the benefits of diversity. With over 18 years of experience, Madam has led large and diverse teams across multiple locations in India and the UK. Her expertise spans across diverse operations in the sourcing, contracting, and procurement domains with experience in industries such as telecom, retail, and manufacturing. Madam Ruku holds an MBA from Worcester University in the UK, further enhancing her knowledge and skills in business management. Outside of work, Madam enjoys indulging in good food, good music, and the company of friends and family. We welcome you, Madam.
Also joining us today is Mr. Arnab Kumar Das, Vice President and Head Human Resources, Ceasefire Industries Limited. Sir is a human resource management strategist with over 18 years of experience. Sir is a performance-driven professional with wide experience and combined expertise in human resource management, recruitment, talent management, and training and development. Sir also has expertise working as strategy architect in the development of innovative HR initiatives to streamline processes and capitalize on organizational growth opportunities. Sir holds a bachelor degree in industrial engineering from Priyadarshini College of Engineering and Architecture, Nagpur, and a gold medalist too, post which Sir completed his postgraduate diploma into business administration from Birla Institute of Management and Technology. We welcome you, sir.
We would now like to introduce you to Dean RDIS Professor Dr. Namita Garg. Madam is an experienced professor with over a decade of experience in augmenting the quality of education through optimum use of technology and pedagogical interventions. Madam has parameterized the quality component in higher education in India in her doctoral thesis. She has been a guiding force in all aspects of our work. Her leadership, dedication, and managerial skills are a source of inspiration. We welcome you, Madam. Now, I would like to request Dean Madam to come forward and share the welcome address.
Thank you, Sukirti and Divya. You guys are great. You're holding it very well. A very good morning to all of you, and a very warm welcome to all the esteemed dignitaries, faculty members, and all my lovely students out here. It is so good to see a packed lecture hall today. So I'm also very happy to share with you that after 2 years of hosting this event in a virtual mode, we are back with our physical event. So let's all together welcome us here to Manthan 2023, the 6th edition of our HR Conclave. We as academicians are always very happy when we have our students with us in the classroom. So it was not easy for us to teach them across the machine. I do understand that now we have the technology, so that's good if we have meetings, but when it comes to teaching and engagements like these, it's always good we have it in person. I remember when we first hosted our HR Conclave, it was back in the year 2016-17, if I'm not wrong, and over the years, this event has actually transformed into a platform wherein we have thought leaders from the industry, we have professionals, we have experts, and along with the students' presence here, we have such thought-provoking discussions that we are able to explore and identify the ever-evolving world of human resource, along with that also the industry. We get to know through the discussions, through the insights, that what is required from us as academicians and from you students who would be a part of this industry in the next year or so. So it is very important that whatever transpires today, whatever discussions we have today, it is very important that you become an important and a very engaged part of that discussion. Come out, discuss, ask questions, do not hesitate, because this platform is for all of you. It is for you to understand what are the skills that are required at your end, what is that to be prepared, in what domains are you to be prepared, and where is that lack when they say that industry academia has to be bridged, that gap has to be bridged. So over the years, through these events, we have actually identified the skills, and we have engaged with industry, we have engaged with corporate houses through our skill programs. We have offered students different skill programs, be it in evaluation, be it in modeling, be it in these analytics, people analytics. So it's important that these courses are not just courses, but they are very essential part for you all to survive in that industry out there. So I'm happy that we have industry professionals with us today, and they would be in a very good position to guide you. They all carry lots of experience with them. They are experts in their field of work, and they would be contributing today. And let's all together take the maximum out of this event today. So my best wishes to each one of you. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir, for sparing time for this event today. And we look forward to a wonderful day and a memorable morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. I request all the dignitaries to kindly come forward and take their seats on the dais.
We would now request respected Dean Madam to kindly come forward and welcome the dignitaries. Mr. Arnab Kumar Das from Ceasefire Industries Limited. Ms. Manisha Wadhwa. Ms. Manisha Wadhwa from Tata Power Delhi Distribution Limited. Mr. Parikshit Kochar from Byju's. Ms. Seema Singh. Ms. Seema Singh from Euro Exim Bank.
I would like to tell you all that Madam is coming from Chennai directly for this event today.
Mr. Rajiv Kumar from Electrify. Ms. Ruku Arora from Walmart Global Tech.
Thank you, madam. I request you to kindly stay back at the stage. Yes. All the dignitaries are requested to kindly come forward for a group photograph.
This is a surprise.
I would also request in charge Training and Placement Department, Dr. Tanuja Zaroha, to kindly join us on stage for the photograph. Thank you, everyone. You may please take your seats.
I would now request the moderator of the session, Mr. Parikshit Kochar, to kindly take us through the panel discussion for which all the participants are geared up for.
Hello. A very good morning to all of you, and morning to everybody here on the dais. So, as all of us are aware, the topic, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion at workplace. So, I would like to, first of all, thank the college to give us the opportunity to come sit at the dais and talk about this topic, since it's going to be very, very important. And it is important. The entire globe is looking at it. You know, people have been working. Companies have been working towards the same, and I would like to I would like to request everybody here at the dais to give their thoughts, starting probably from Ruku ma'am, to talk about, you know, first let's understand the meaning of all these three. So I would request you to probably please talk about diversity. Yeah.
Sure. So for me, diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? They are components that when they bind together, they result in a very beautiful output. And they're all connected to each other in some sense. But since Parikshit said, you know, we all should get a chance to kind of talk about it, for me, look at it this way, and the most simple way to explain it is, we say variety is the spice of life, right? Do you agree with me? Yeah? So diversity is also a sort of synonym for variety, right? And when we talk about diversity, there are lots of diversity. I mean, if you go back a few years, it was probably only gender diversity that we all were aware of, right? Now it is basically bringing people together from all fields of life, whether it is you're talking about gender, sexual orientation, race, ethnicity, age, and whatnot, right? Even includes people with disability, people from the LGBTQ world. These are all diverse perspectives to bring. So that's why we say it's like variety. That's the most simple way that I like to talk about it. I think it's working now. Do you also want to say about equity, or should I just pass on? Yeah?
Yes,
Probably
it's
should
probably,
get
if we can,
Rajiv to.
yeah.
So diversity, as we all understood, that it is the kind of variety we are talking about and bringing them together and getting the best out of it, right? That's all about.
Rajiv sir, I'll just cut you short. If you could just hold the mic closer to your mouth so that all of us can hear you.
Is it better now? Is it better? So we all heard from Roku that bring variety together and get the best flavor out of it, and that is the beauty of the diversity, right? But sometimes we feel that, okay, there is a diverse, we have brought them together, but the impact is not there, right? We are not getting the best out of it, and we are not getting it utilized. The capacity is not we are not getting the best capacity out of it, right? And there equity plays a very important role. So when we talk about diversity, sometimes you'll find some unconscious bias, right? And where you will feel that it is not uniformly across, you know, managed that way, the way we would like to see the variety to be managed. Sometimes the top hierarchy, they are talking about, but that is not inclusive. Their bottom line, it is kind of inclusive, but it is not uniformly across, right? And then we don't get the best out of it. And there equity plays a very important role. Where we talk about, it has to be on the same platform, and it has to have a same kind of, you know, at the bar. So there's no differentiation between the based on whatever we are talking about, whether it is gender or it is socio-economic, or it could be, you know, the able, disabled, whatever. So that there we need to have equity is very important role. In fact, sometimes they are very interconnected, and we will not have an impact if equity is missing. And you will see that equity we have been talking about very recently. I think earlier we were just talking about D and I, right? But we realize that without equity, it will not have an impact, it will not have any meaning, and hence we really believe that equity is very important and belongingness. Without this, diversity inclusion cannot be a successful agenda of any corporate. Yeah?
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Seema ma'am?
So, for me, as Ruku said, diversity, equity, and inclusion are fingers of the same hand. So, in this college, you may have, I was told by Tanuja ji that you are 1200 students. Are we all from one place? No. So, we are from different parts of the country, from different backgrounds, from different economical backgrounds, educational backgrounds, workforce. So diversity is nothing but respecting the differences, whether it is in economic background, whether it is in gender, whether it is in ethnicity, whether it is in religion, whether it is in anything which we think of is a difference. So diversity is just being respectful towards the difference between you and me and Parikshit or maybe anybody else. So this is an equity. Is once we have diversity, we start respecting the difference, equity and inclusion will happen automatically. But yes, we need to be a little more agile, a little more effort has to be put in to bring equity at the workplaces. We'll talk at length on that. And inclusion, I have been part of the inclusivity. Just I'll take a little more.
Please, ma'am.
So as the girl, what's your name? Sukirti was saying, I was part of founding team of Bharatiya Mahila Bank. The bank was made for financial inclusion of women, for women empowerment. Women are empowered, I don't want to talk about it, but they were excluded from the financial sector. So I have been very actively part of that inclusion, so it is a very dear subject to me. But then Government of India gave me an opportunity to be part of a very big project of including financially the last mile person at the last mile in the country. So this is a project to, capabilities to, to enhance the capability of the person in the remotest corner of the country to be able to do the financial transactions on his own. And how we did it, just in 2 lines I'll tell. We did a training program of 300,000 postmen on the mobile phones, smartphones, along with the biometric devices. These were all classroom trainings. This again is part of inclusion of the postmen to become bankers, because banking and delivering dak are 2 different things. And then these 300,000 people went to different parts of the country, and then they started giving, and they are giving doorstep services to the people who would not step out of the house, take the help of the middlemen, and then, pay that some amount. Let's say, अगर उनकी pension आई है 700 रुपया, तो उसमें से वो 100 रुपया दे देंगे कि भाई मेरा पैसा जाके ले आइए बैंक से. If you have to go and travel 30 kilometers to a nearby post office or a bank, you have to spend money. So this was all abolished by this project. The doorstep services were being given at the place, are being given, and people were initially trained to work on the smartphones on a assisted mode and then on self-assisted mode. So inclusion can happen in day-to-day life. Inclusion can happen on a bigger sectors, in financial sectors, in educational sectors. I'm sure this college is also helping into inclusion of so many things. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. So over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Parikshit. My learned colleagues have already touched upon diversity and equity, equality. It's not working? Thank you very much. Thank you. So, I would just like to add that nowadays corporates are getting very, very aware of diversity. Some for the sake of getting that name and fame, we're working on diversity. Some are doing it dil se. I'm a proud member of Tata family, so in our organization, it is being done dil se, although, but then there are many organizations who are just hiring people from different areas just for the sake of we have to comply with this. just to show the numbers, diversity. But then there could be the cases wherein we have a diversified workforce, but there is no inclusion. What if you hire a PWD candidate, person with disability, if you hire him or her, but then you do not have sufficient infrastructure or you do not have sufficient the accurate culture. I mean, people are not respectful to that guy or the girl. They're saying कि ये क्या काम करेगी? आपने इसको मेरे department में लाके you have created a burden on me. There are instances like this. So until and unless you create that culture within organization that the people are receptive towards this, there is no inclusion. So diversity becomes meaningless unless it is followed by inclusion. So Seema ma'am has just shared she's doing a lot for postmen. You can hire people from different backgrounds, but until and unless you have the tendency to include them, to groom them, diversity becomes useless. So that is what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Okay, so you now know the definition, you know the, the basic infrastructure, the, start point of that. But for me, I'll talk on behalf of management, that what as a management I get out of diversity, inclusion and equity, right? For us, for every corporate, there are two things. We want performance, we want retention, right? And we want people to grow with us, right? Now, many at times when you hire someone and you do it through a regular process, you tend to forget that different people have different competencies which might not come at an interview level, right? But when you give an opportunity from a pool of talent, they can be gender-wise, or maybe, like ma'am said, PWD, or maybe anything. What you are doing is that you are unknowingly or knowingly getting that pool of talent in your organization. So then what happens is that, first thing is that the performance improves because there is now a competition between the employees. The second is the engagement increases because initially there may be a hindrance, or there may be people might have some confusion or about the process, but later they start acclimatizing with the flow, right? The third thing what happens is that because they are performing and because they are engaged, they stay in the organization. And somehow they develop some intrinsic motivation to do well. And I would like to tell you that when you give opportunity to people who have never got opportunity, you actually motivate them to do better than any other person, right? And I think as a corporate, as ma'am told, some may be doing it because they want to come in limelight, but at the end of the day, it only gives benefit to that individual and to that company.
Thank you so much for the corporate standpoint on diversity. And so my understanding as of now, what I can take away from this small discussion, the initial discussion that we have, is it's all a mindset. It's all a mindset where you are not limiting yourself for nobody. I guess everybody can hear me like this only, right? So I don't think I'm going to need a mic. So I believe what my takeaway is right now is that it's a mindset. So here, people sitting in front of me, a lot of people will think that I'm very good for a type of a job or a B type of a job. I would not like to do anything else apart from that. Nothing lower than that, nothing higher than that, as of now to begin with. But all I'd like to say is that all of us, we have to be open, not only for what we really want to do, because it's all about me, I, we. So let's change that thought process to us, we, and because it's not only you who's going to be making an effort or working with an organization. So, ma'am, okay, what if I was to understand why is it really important what we are trying to do here in the organizations by getting diversity, equity, we talk about inclusion? Is it really important?
I mean, I honestly think that you can't do without it. So it is important, yes, but it is an absolute factor in your organization success, and not just organizations, even institutes and colleges, right? Like ma'am said, that we come from diverse backgrounds. So imagine this, right? If you have 10 different people in the room who think very differently from each other, let alone their backgrounds, don't you think you will get more ideas? Yeah? And what does more ideas do? They lead to better solutions, right? So that is one of the many powers that are very obvious of diversity, equity and inclusion, right? And the other thing is that when we are going to study or when we are going for jobs, we are all human beings, right? And human beings like to be treated a certain way, right? And the basic of that is that we are to be treated with equality and respect. So diversity, equity and inclusion make sure that you get an atmosphere where you can thrive. Everybody can go to a job, but will you not be happy doing a job where your opinions are welcomed, where you are valued for who you are, right, irrespective of where you come from, and you're given an equal platform, right? So equality also, there's one aspect of equality and equity, and this is a question that I usually get asked in a lot of panels, that what is the difference between equality and equity, and are they really different? They are slightly different, and I'll tell you how. Equality is when you're giving an equal platform to everybody. So let's say me and Rajiv sir are, going to an organization to work, and everything in terms of policies and everything is accessible to the both of us, right? Infrastructure, we have food to eat, we can just park our car, go up to the office. But then there is another person, let's say, who's coming into the organization who has a disability, right? Now, when you take a circumstance of a person and take it into consideration that we have to also make it equitable for this person to be able to come to the office, that is equity. Equality is giving a fair platform and an equal platform. Equity is when you consider a person's circumstance and make sure that now the opportunity that you're giving them is actually equal. So that is the equity piece of it, right? So in that terms, how you feel when you go to work, how you're valued, you will end up coming back feeling better about yourself, about your life, if you go to an organization or an institute or a workplace or a government office, wherever you go. If there is a culture of valuing your diversity and equity and inclusion. So I feel like you just come out as a better human being, feeling better about your life if you have all of this available to you. So I personally feel that it is a game changer, right? So it's not just important, it is absolutely something that, we shouldn't be able to do without.
Wonderful. So Rajiv sir, my question to you, in your industry or respective company that you're with, or the different companies that you work with, how has this been implemented and what is the way of implementing it? Yeah, is there a certain way in which we are implementing and bringing about this change and giving this knowledge? Because I believe most of the students sitting here today, everybody has, as Ruku and rightly said, that there's a certain way in which you want to be treated as an individual when you go to an organization. But then it is not only an expectation, but it is also a responsibility. Wherein what you're expecting, you're also supposed to give that to your co-people, as the people who are working with you or the company that you'll be working with. That is one part which I personally believe, would you say that it is kind of missing or not informed or not taught correctly?
Correct. It is not, I would say that it is missing, not taught properly.
Yeah.
And so we call it as a very concept earlier, that diversity inclusion is a very nice concept, but these days everybody is trying to practice it. And when we want to practice it, that means that we need to have a better communication to employee, make them understand what does it mean by D&I. A lot of people, they just say D&I is very good. Some, if you ask, and they'll say, yeah, it's a corporate agenda. They don't know exactly why it is required. They also feel it's a community service because we are trying to employ the, disabled people, etc. So it is more like a community service, right? But it's not like that. Organization is benefiting out of it and having the inclusive culture, and it will happen because of the, first of all, this creates a lot of employment opportunity across, right? So that will not exist in case we do not believe in D&I. Second is that it is also linked to profitability, as Arnab talked about the retention, and a lot of people believe that there's a very inclusive culture and we have very diverse background people. People tend to stay, and when they tend to stay, they're more engaged and it is more profitable, right? When the Glassdoor service center talked about the job seekers, also they prefer to have a diverse background organization. Now, the Parikshit talked about how did we kind of practice it in organizations. So normally we do a lot of communications around it. We have a lot of posters. We also call a lot of industry dignitaries. They talk about D&I. They talk about their practices. They make them understand how does it work. I can give a very good example of D&I. I just went to Lifestyle. It's a landmark group, right? And suddenly I was at billing counter and I struggled for a minute that why is not responding to me immediately. Then he gave me one, the kind of, the pen and something to write my mobile. And then I realized that he cannot maybe, he cannot, hear at all, right? So basically I can talk about a very cosmetic brand, maybe especially the girls, they would be knowing is the MAC background. Mac is a US brand, and they had a lot of transgender. So what is the agenda behind it? Because they believe that transgender can do a wonderful job, of makeup as an artist, and they create a lot of employment for them. So if you go to Mac, outlet, and you'll find a lot of transgenders. So we need to look for opportunity. How many more brands? So we are all talking about very innovative, way of implementing the DNI. And now we are not talking about only transgender. I mean, not gender like male and female, variety of transgender, LGBTQ community, socio-economic. So everything comes as part of the the DNI. The challenge is only the belongingness. जो मैम ने कहा दिल से ना, दिल से ही नहीं होता है. तो वो नहीं होगा तो फिर आपका कोई everything is just a tick mark. So think about it. और एक beautiful चीज़ मैं बताऊंगा. I was a part of round table some time back on DNI, and wonderful person who was disabled, and he's a motivational speaker by the way. And he said one very interesting thing कि हम लोग भी जहाँ आपस में बैठे हैं, we are also not similar. Parikshit, Seema ma'am, Manisha ma'am, Raku ma'am, are we all similar? He said that we have some disability kind of thing, within us. So why do we really differentiate that you are disabled, I am not disabled, you are this, I am not that? Everybody is different, and we need to bring all of them together and see who has potential, who can do a job. So we just need to create an opportunity, and that's it, and have an inclusive culture to make this possible.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So, Seema ma'am, you wanted to make a point on inclusion, is what you want to talk about? Oh,
Diversity and inclusion.
diversity and inclusion. You want to make a point on that. So,
How did
please.
we implement?
Yeah. How did you implement, right?
So I'll just give you a very practical example. I was heading HR for United Bank of India, and I was in Calcutta. And suddenly the government of India came up. Because I have been in the government bank, there are very laid down guidelines from the government, and which are very good, as Ruku was saying, people with disability. So they have specified the percentage of hiring should be, let's say 3% of my hiring should be PWD. Or maybe 27% or 30% or 40% will be SC, ST, OBC. Issue is to include everyone. So now the government of India came up with a direction that on promotion, a promotion can happen only if my officer will have a rural background. He has to serve in the rural areas. Mine was a northeastern bank, and difficult area for the North Indian people or maybe the South Indian boys and girls to go and work in the rural areas. Now the question was what to do about girls. Now the girls, initially I was telling my co-panelists that I was the only one in UP when I got hired. And when I was hiring, my 40% were the women. And it is such a pleasure to see these women working in difficult areas. So coming back to the point is, now I had to think how to give rural posting to my girls, because it's not safe in Northeast, it may be in Bengal, and there are some Naxalite infused areas. So I had to think about something, and what we did was I thought about a hub and spoke model. What we did was, we talked about a district headquarter where 8 women could live together. Maybe 2 flats, they could live together, and they would travel in different rural areas around that district and come back home in the night or evening. So this particular model became such a hit because, one, people from different areas, girls from different areas of the country were coming and working together. They were like a family. They were not feeling homesick, and they were not deprived of their opportunity to be promoted. So this is, again, when we have a will, there is a way. If I want, I will definitely find a way out for inclusion, for diversity. So for me, diversity, equity, inclusion, it's all empowerment. I empower. And it's such a pleasure. One of my officers, she called up and said, ma'am, I'm in this particular area of Murshidabad, very rural area. And you know what? I have learned Bangla. Not only speaking, she said, I have learned the Bangla script, because when you give a housing loan, you get a title deed, which is in Bangla language. How will I know whether it is the right title deed or not if I have to create a mortgage on that? So this is empowerment, that my lady officer, she was a great success because she learned the language, she learned the script, and she was doing a wonderful job.
So ma'am, will it be right to say that the takeaway for at least the students sitting here today is that we should not be looking for a comfort zone. We should not get comfortable in a situation. We should always be ready to learn,
Yes.
to go out of our comfort zone and perform.
Yes,
Yeah.
perfectly.
If
Well,
you really want to grow.
yes, if you want to soar the sky, you have to fly high. So, so you have to go out of the houses, not restrict yourselves to Delhi because Delhi is a very flamboyant place, you like to be there. But it's okay to go to far off places and you learn so much. Today, if I've gone all the way from Delhi, I was in Delhi for 9 years and now I'm working in Chennai. I had a lot of apprehensions before going that, and there's an unconscious bias also.
There's an unconscious bias.
There's an unconscious bias. How will people accept me or not?
Right.
Whether what kind of people in South India, they have a different way. There's something which is inbuilt in me which got shattered when I went there. And for past 9 months, I'm having a wonderful experience. And in my present organization, I'm working not only in India, we've got around 32,000 sales force in 182 countries. So great thing is that from Africa to Canada to everywhere in the world, people are calling up and saying, I have this issue, I have this issue. So great thing to work and think big. This is my message to all of you.
Thank you so much. As rightly stated by Seema ji, come out of your boxes. Actually, I'll cite my personal example. At Tarabao DDL, I had been working with a group which is we call KCG, Key Consumer Group, and I was working with customers like who are owning industries, hospitals, big shots. One good day, my chief calls me and says, "Ki Manisha, I want you to move to another department which is dealing with slums." I said, "What?" This was the reaction. I said, "What, sir?" He was chief. ऐसा बोलना, I will, sir, are you sure? Me? Manisha, I have seen your passion for CSR activities. We keep doing CSR at Tata's, various kind of work. So I was passionate for this. He would have seen me actively engaging with CSR stuff. He says, I've seen you in various CSR kind of activities and your engagement was quite high. So I really want you to come and join this group. I said, sir, I'm not sure. Slums. He says, go ahead. Trust me and go ahead. I did it. I was apprehensive. I said, how would I go to slums? It's a very difficult, not difficult, but different kind of scenarios. But I said, he says, this is your growth path, Manisha, trust me and just go for it. I said, okay. I went for it. And people across my organization, my seniors, they called me up, Manisha, what are you doing to yourself? Have you ever been to slums? How would you manage? You have been dealing with industries, you were in such a good profile. This is kind of demotion for you. I was like, what? So I said, okay. I said, sir, chief has asked me to do so and he's such a learned person. He has been a mentor. I need to go for some time. Let's see. I said, it's just that you're dealing with the customer. There was a different segment of customers, high-profile ones. There's a different segment of customers wherein I can sit with them on a charpai, can have a cup of tea with them. It's okay. So I went. It was a very tough scenario in comparison to what I had been dealing earlier. But out of that, when I joined this particular group, special consumer group we call it, which is dealing with slum areas, we worked on a special project we call as Abha. We developed women from slums as our brand ambassadors. The ladies who could not come out of their houses, the ladies who could not even talk to us when we moved us, the females, if we are going, as a female, if we are going to the slums, if we are talking to them, they were not ready to talk to us. They will not make an eye contact. They will look like this and then talk. So we created a wonderful model. We created Abha model by which we engaged women from slums in our commercial activities. As in date, we have 841 Abhas across 218 slums in Delhi. And the kind of impact this model has done for us, as in date, my collection efficiency from slums is 100%, which at one point of time was only 40%. So, can you imagine women from slums who are least empowered? उनके घर में ही उनकी कोई नहीं सुनता है. Sorry, I'm using some Hindi slangs in between because it is more relatable. They say कि we do not have any financial power within our own house. We are not asked. कितना खर्च करना है, कैसे बजट बनाना है. So this is the kind of women it was. With that ABHA model, now we engaged them. Diversity we have promoted. We have engaged women from slums. But was it sufficient to hire them, to include them in our diversity profile? No. We did enormous, fantabulous job. I would say fantabulous because I am very proud of this. As in date, I'm not with that particular group. We did great. We did so much to empower these women. We trained them. And till date also, we have been having monthly training programs for them monthly, till date, every month. And nowadays, if you meet one of my ABHA leaders, you'll be amazed to see the transformation she has come across these years. So that inclusion part was so much important for them. Because of that inclusivity, that kind of training, that kind of empowerment, that kind of their interaction with our leaders. My CEO goes in the slums and talks to these ladies. My chief regularly talks to these ladies. So this is the kind of role the leadership is playing. So the idea or the essence is inclusivity is very important. And for me, when I joined this group, I worked on this ABHA model, which helped me win this prestigious Tata Innovista Award for Tata companies. I cannot, to stand there in Taj and to receive that award from Tata Group chairman, it was like India match jeeta hai na Pakistan se. So it was, winning that trophy was like that. So I said ki, who was the fellow who said ki, Manisha, it seems like you are getting demotivated from with your transfer. So you can never imagine what kind of transformation you're going through. So let's not restrict ourselves to a particular role. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Manisha. So will it be right to say that, two things that I could take away from whatever you said right now, two things that I can take away from it is, one, that don't limit yourself, as you just correctly said.
Absolutely.
And the other is when you're working with an organization and you have started following somebody or you have identified a mentor for yourself, so it's always extremely important for us to believe.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I would say that would be
Typical Byju's guy, but yes. But then, jokes apart, yes, certainly. We do have to trust somebody. And normally they have a lot of experience, and the way they can guide us, I could never see that line for me. I would never have chosen that line for me had I been given a chance to choose. But then when he said, I went for it, and there was no bar.
So every time we are not pushed only for, people don't usually have the intention to do bad for us.
Absolutely.
Especially if
Absolutely.
you talk about your mentor.
There are very good people around
So one
also.
should always believe. So believe is another factor which is extremely important.
Very true, very true.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sir.
So let me tell you a story. 2016, when Ceasefire thought of going for a ISO certification. So we saw that the assembly section, the error rate was around 10 errors per 1,000 of extinguisher manufactured. So we started doing an audit. So what RCA, root cause analysis of why this is happening. So in that section there were 5 females and 40 males. So we started doing a time and motion study of all the people. So suddenly one person from the audit team told, "Sir, एक काम करते हैं, मेल फीमेल का अलग कर लेते हैं." हमने कहा, "अरे क्यों अलग करना है? एक साथ करो." कहते नहीं सर, करके देखते हैं. So what we observed is that the error rate for a male assembler is 60% more than a female. So, and it's the truth. So we decided, we got the point now then. So we decided that we have to increase our, obviously the female employees in that particular section. So next year we went for a campus to a polytechnic institute. Okay, because polytechnic guys are generally who come. So we were doing a campus presentation. So around 40-60% male female students were 40-60% they were sitting. The moment we finished the campus presentation, females गायब. सब मतलब boy students मैंने कहा क्या हुआ ये? Exactly. So नहीं उन्होंने सोचा कि हम कर नहीं पाएंगे या फिर हमें चांस नहीं मिलेगा, जबकि हम तो आए थे उनके लिए, right? So then we had to do one more session of presentation. We called everyone and we actually demonstrated what is being done in that assembly section, and we played some video, additional 1 hour session. We selected around 35 female candidates, out of which obviously finally 10 people joined, and over a period of time it has increased now. Now I have a ratio of 70-30 female male in my assembly section, and my error rate is 4 ppm. So that is what I am saying, is that when you choose the right career and give opportunity to people, you benefit yourself.
All right. One more thing that I'd like
I
to
would
say.
like to ask you, sir, don't you think there's a mindset that has been created that this kind of job is
Exactly, ma'am.
more suitable for women and this is more suitable for men?
Exactly, ma'am. Now also when we go to a presentation, campus presentation, after the final presentation, you will see hardly any girls sitting in the staying back for the interviews. They are saying, ये ceasefire है, यहाँ तो extinguisher बेचना है या fire security बेचना है, हम industry में जाकर कैसे sell करेंगे? So we had to push them. So what we have done now is that we have started a buddy program. So which means if for example Ruku ma'am has to go to for a presentation in an industry, I will accompany her. I'm a male employee, so I will accompany her. For that day, I don't have to do any calls. So whatever call she does comes to my account, and I am giving that. The company gives me that leeway that if I am accompanying a female employee to an industrial area where it is difficult to go, you don't have to do the calls now. So that model has now we have around 20% of female sales employees. But I think that is very less, because I was talking in the morning, in insurance, in fire safety, where it is all about safety, female does always better than, yeah, it is always better.
So guys, one more thing that I'd like to bring to your notice is, by no means are we trying to say that only female are good to us. Yeah. Okay? So please don't take that away. That's not a takeaway from this
I
session.
take it the other way around.
But yes, it is very rightly said that for so many things it is identified that males are better for this job. And however, it's very confusing for me if you talk about, if I was to talk about my experience or my understanding. If you're at home, खाना मम्मी बनाएगी, मम्मी नहीं है तो दीदी बनाएगी, दीदी नहीं है तो बेटी बनाएगी, मतलब whoever, whichever, whatever, as in the female in the house is going to prepare the food and give it to you. However, the best of businesses that you want to do, all the chefs are males. How is that a possibility? As in, you go to a restaurant, a female, have you ever seen a female step into a restaurant saying that I want a job as a chef? But सबसे अच्छा खाना कौन बनाता है? मेरी माँ. माँ के हाथ के पराठे से अच्छा कोई और पराठा नहीं है. How is that possible? So, but then again, yeah, that's what life is. That's what we need to understand. So you people are actually, ideally, the population sitting here, minus the first 2 rows, apart from the students who are sitting in the first 2 rows, are the future of the country, right? So you are the ones who are going to be setting the tone from here onwards. You are the ones who are going to be deciding as to what happens next. How does it happen? In which direction is it going to go? Diversification or equity or inclusion. These are all terms because we like to talk in jargons. We like to talk terms. But what is most important is the essence of it. If we've understood the essence, and if we have really understood it, and if we are ready to imbibe or inculcate in our daily lives, in our thought processes, are we the ones who are going to respect a person who's probably begging because of some reasons, because of whatever situation the person is not doing it because the person really wants to do it, but probably because of the situation. But are we going to be respectful? I'm not saying that you give away everything that you have. No, that's not what I'm saying. But then, will we be able to, even if we are, I'm going to say that no, I'm not going to be giving anything, but can we be respectful to anybody and everybody around us, is the idea. So, to all the people sitting here on the dais, what should be the way of taking it forward in life? Especially for us, we know what we're doing. What are we trying to inculcate? We have the data. We have the historical data and we have the present data to do the analysis, understand how important this, diversity, equity, inclusion. But then how the general public should understand it, and how important it is going to be for the general public to understand it. How can the general public and students from today understand that what all are the things that are important which they need to include in their lives? So can we have some...
So I say this, right? We are talking about how do we go about this in the future. us, right? You, me, we are making it. So what happens is this diversity, equity, and inclusion starts at your home. So it doesn't start in an organization, it doesn't start in a college. I'm going to go Parikshit and not use this. So it starts in your home, it starts in your college, it starts everywhere you go, right? So, and I'm going to reference a little bit of how many of you, and you have to be very honest, right, made a joke about somebody's ability, especially let's say when you see gay movies or something like that, right? Karan Johar के ऊपर कितने लोगों ने joke बनाया होगा? मैंने तो किया, so I know, right? And it takes courage, right, to raise your hand and say that. What happens is that all of these terms that we are discussing about, you will not realize that we are a part of it in our everyday lives. So simple things that you can do is you can educate yourself, right? Obviously, you can read about diversity, equity, and inclusion, but read about how it creates a social impact in the society, right? How do you stand up for somebody else also? So, for example, if somebody cracks a gay joke in front of me at my workplace, I take that opportunity to talk to them and tell them better because I know better, right? I don't become a party to their conversation and start laughing with them because I want to come across as a friendly person and be a part of that group. It is very difficult to raise it because they look at me as somebody who's like, nahi yaar, this person is not cool, like she raises these things, right? But I would rather be that person because I know that I'm being more respectful like that in the long run. I can teach my friends better, I can do better when I do these things, right? So that's where it starts. So you have to do that at home with your parents, with your siblings, especially with your parents who are coming from an age where they did not have internet, where they did not have this information. So if they cringe after watching movies that talk about, there was this recent movie, Oh My God 2, right? Yes. It talks about sex education. I don't know how many of you have seen it. But, parents were like, acha, channel change kar do, let's get out of it. No. Tell them that this is important, sit with them, but be patient. A lot of us lose our patience when we are talking to parents. Because unko samajh nahi aata. But imagine this, the privileges that you have today, they did not grow up with those privileges, right? So sit with them, be patient, tell them also, learn yourself, and don't feel shy in speaking to people who know better than you, right? So the whole deal is you have to unlearn a lot of things that you've been taught while you are growing up, and then you have to relearn, and it is okay to do that. This generation is obviously better. I was born in the early 1980s, so I'm also from a time where, some of these biases creep in, but I work hard to keep them out. And you have to do the same, right? You have to carry forward. There's a huge responsibility on your shoulders. So you can make a lot of difference when you enter the corporate world. Some of you will enter the social sector, some of you will enter the corporate world. You're going to do different things. But wherever you go, one thing is not going to change is that you're going to be dealing with people. A culture of an organization is going to be made by people like you, people like me. So when we are going to make that culture, you are adding to making that culture. You can't say, okay, I'm going to go to an organization where already a culture है. वो culture उन्हीं लोगों ने बनाया, right? हम लोगों ने बनाया. So take that responsibility of saying, okay, I'm going to be a part of creating an inclusive culture when I go into a college, an institute, or an organization. So start at home and start with yourself.
Absolutely. You do that, and you will create a culture where people will then say that this is the company we would want to work with.
Yeah.
Because of people like you working there and creating the culture, which is the most important of it. Great. So.
So I think Rakhu has touched all the points about what we should be doing. So additionally, what I can say, probably I can again reiterate that reading is very important. Understand what is diversity inclusion concept, and go deep into it, because it's not very it just say diversity. That don't take a literal meaning of diversity. Understand what does it mean. What are the things we need to tie with the diversity, like values are very important here, culture is very important, inclusive culture. Even at home sometimes, आप कहीं सुनोगे कि अच्छी लड़की इनको मत बोलो करने, इनको आप बोलो करने, ये नहीं कर पाएगी, बहन इसको आप ये मत करो, तो भाई आप इसको बोलो. Start from there, try to respect each other. Everybody is unique in their own way, but try to get the best again from them and try to integrate it and respect each other from there itself. Even आपके यहाँ जो कोई कोई हेल्पर है, आप उनके भी व्यूज़ को रेस्पेक्ट करें. दे आर ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, दे कैन बी अ पार्ट ऑफ इट, राइट? सो व्हेन आई एम सेइंग दे आर अ पार्ट ऑफ इट, दैट मीन्स यू नीड टू हैव वेरी इंक्लूसिव अप्रोच, राइट? आप रेस्पेक्ट कर देंगे, अच्छा इसने अच्छा नहीं किया, ख़राब नहीं किया, तो आप उनको बोल दोगे ऐसा. यू शुड नॉट डू दैट एट ऑल. सो बी वेरी इंक्लूसिव and that will bring the inclusive culture wherever you go, and that will help you when you go to a corporate world as well. Again, Rako said that corporate, you cannot say this is company I'll choose because they have a very good culture and all. You are the one who is going to create a culture. Remember that. आपका एक्सेप्टेंस सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है टुवर्ड्स डाइवर्सिटी. अगर मैं बोलूँ कि डाइवर्सिटी की 50 बातें करूँ and I'm not accepting it myself, then why I'm telling other people to talk about it and accept it? So acceptance has to come from you first, that I believe in it, I accept it, and it has a value, to follow the DNI. So acceptance, and then create a sense of belongingness, whatever we do, respect to each other, and have an inclusive culture. In fact, sometime back I was in another forum and we just talked about the mental health, and there we talked about the corporate challenges they're facing on the mental health these days. Employees are not very open about it, they're not talking about it. I'm going through a lot of issues with the employees. So there again we should have an inclusive culture only, and that will help them to open up. So somebody was talking about the trust and all, right? Trust तभी आएगा ना when you believe that अच्छा इनको मैं बोलूँगा तो that will help. If you think इनको मैं बोलूँगा that might backfire, I may have a different repercussions, then I will not open up. But I have an inclusive culture. I treat my leaders as my the well-wisher. I will open up that I have this mental problem, please help me out. And that is a one of the challenges we are facing post-COVID, that and that's why we are talking about inclusive culture again, and that has got more importance, that you need to have a trust, and then you can you can talk about it openly and people will address your issues. And I still believe that culture has to play a very important role, and from top to bottom. So first of all, leadership has to really be open for it. They should not have any conscious biasness about it. क्योंकि हम लोग बोलते भी हैं कि ये जैसे I also look after hiring, right? इसमें female candidate को आप hire करो, इसमें male को करो, इसमें इसको करो.
This is open for all, this is open for only one.
Correct. Typical types, right? So इस role में आप female को ले लो, अच्छा तो मैं बोला क्यों लेना? आपको आप meritocracy पे hire करो ना.
Exactly.
Why do you restrict your thought? यहाँ पे आपके अनकॉन्शियस बायस है, राइट? ये कस्टमर केयर में लड़कियाँ अच्छा कर लेंगे काम, लड़के नहीं करेंगे, उसमें ये नहीं करेंगे. यू नीड टू बी ओपन टू दैट. अभी कुछ दिन पहले मेरी टीम में आया कि सर एक लड़का आया है, ही इज़ डिसेबल्ड, ही इज़ जस्ट ऑन द व्हील चेयर, सो व्हाट डू आई डू? एंड ही केम फॉर द इंटरव्यू फॉर अ वॉक इन जॉब, Then I said, let's call him and let's understand whether he can do a job or not. And the job we were offering him, he can do a job. Only said that I cannot come to office because washroom, etc. I will have a difficulty. So we created a kind of environment for him that you work from home 1 a day, you can come to office maybe 2 hours, etc. And he did a wonderful job. So these are the examples we need to think about it. So but everybody has respected him, right? That we are a part of it. He's a part of the organization. It's not that we put him aside that okay he's just disabled and we have kind of obliged him. No, that he is also equally important for us, and he is doing the same job what others are doing, who is 100% fit and look able.
Wonderful. So with this, I guess it's going to be time where we've been talking about the same thing. We've tried and explained what the topic is all about. What does these 3 words mean? And I believe everybody sitting here on the dais or everybody attending this session, I believe it is quite clear to all of us. So I would personally say this would be the right time to probably ask the public here sitting, saying if you have any questions or whatever questions you have, you may please direct your questions to people you want to ask them from. So anybody with a question, please.
Good afternoon to all the panelists. Well, I just wanted to know, it is indeed a pretty good session going on, but I'm quite curious, like you all are having, I guess I
We can hear you.
Yeah. So, I believe in all day-to-day or activities, you might face any challenges or barrier. Then how did you overcome it? Like including the factors like diversity, inclusion, workforce. So how did you overcome it?
So like I'll answer on that. One, I told you we have to innovate. So the diversity will always lead to empowerment and innovation.
Yes.
Right? Public sector, because I am basically from public sector, it was difficult for women. Yeah, as I said, 40% young women were now coming, and after 1 or 2 years they will get married and then they'll go in family way, and they will go, and they're forced to take unpaid leave because the child is small and there's nobody to look after in remote areas. So what we did was we thought, yes, I should not deprive them from coming out to offices, or or they should not be, and even young boys, young parents, boys, young fathers also, with couples working, women and men both going. So I was the first one to have a creche in the office in Calcutta for young boys and girls, new parents, so that they could bring their children. And it was a beautiful creche. It came in the newspapers, and best of the help and best of amenities, just to enable and empower women and boys and girls both. Because if a boy is there and young parents, to continue to work and not have loss of pay because of having a small child at home. So as a leader, it is my role. I will always say, as Rubu was beautifully said, that you have to do, you'll take it forward. But what can I do today? Being in a position where I can do something, it is my role and responsibility to continuously hammer. See, we have a very stubborn mind. Continuously hammer our minds and give in the form of trainings. And trainings, if you can have a training with a mixed culture, it's not just call one group from one state. Because I've worked for a national level thing, I will pick up people from different states. If it's a group of 30, every state should have a representation. This is how, these are small initiatives where we can, as leaders or maybe in a position, to bring about inclusion, diversity, equity. Equity, I have not faced much because we were in a very structured system, no different salaries for the same work for different people. It was never like that. But rest, we can do it if you want to.
Yes, understood. Thank you so much.
Anybody else with a question?
Yes.
Please.
Ma'am, you talked about unconscious bias, which also mentions the at times you realize that this is very systemic in itself.
Yes.
And especially from the decision-making level, only if you talk about this from an organization perspective. So how is it that at least at an individual level, can we build the audacity to have a belief at the angle of these, and whether they are serving us a purpose or not?
I could take that.
Yeah, please. Please, ma'am.
So you very beautifully put it, right? It's a part of our conditioning. So I think the first step is, I don't know like how many people in the room know how many kind of biases exist, right? So it starts there. So for example, I as a leader underwent a unconscious bias training when I came into the company, and it was mandatory for me to go through that in the first 30 days of my joining the company. So there is a set of trainings or set of, let's say, activities that you could put as a part of somebody's onboarding to equip them. And again, it can be done in colleges, institutes, or organizations. But at least the fact that you know that these kind of biases exist, it automatically goes at the back of your head. Every time you are kind of operating from a bias, you'll think of that moment when you were told to do better. So for example, a conformity bias, right? It is like if my boss is saying something, I will feel the urge of agreeing with him, right? So that's like, okay, he's kind of, saying something, I need to back it up. Or group में जब चार लोग एक साथ बात कर रहे होते हैं and बाकी दो are of a different opinion, they tend to side with somebody, right? There are various types of biases. So one is that obviously, again, if you're talking about an institute, you could do education around it. Even if you're in an organization, I know that Mind does it within 30 days because they know that people operate from biases. So the first thing they can do, they can't take away the biases. And let's be honest, it's not going to go away immediately, right? But you at least start there. You go through a 90-minute program where you're sitting and learning only about unconscious bias. The types of bias, how you operate with it in a daily life. And even people like you and me, we don't even realize, right? Like ma'am was saying when we met, the earlier term was chairman. There was not a term as chairwoman. Now, so I am the chairperson for the Pride ARG. Somebody must have coined that term realizing, oh, this is a bias. So it's going to take time. It's a slow change. But the first step towards is knowing better, and then automatically kind of knowing that, checking yourself regularly and saying, oh, am I operating from a bias? So, check yourself regularly is one of the things that you can kind of do to kind of, move past that bias, I would say.
Yeah. So that would be from an individual standpoint. Yeah. Yes, definitely you're right. When it happens in the company or when it happens at a bigger platform, then people sitting in those chairs who are responsible for making policies and bringing about the changes to the policies. Because one thing which is always there and it always exists and will always exist is change. Change is the only constant. Yeah, and that is something that we need to include in our daily lives, whether it comes to your home, whether it comes to the workplace, So as an individual, ma'am has rightly said, that we need to keep a check on us.
In fact, in Interglobe, when I was a part of Interglobe, we did a lot of campaign on diversity inclusion, and also we were recognized within top 15 the great place to work as well. And same thing what Ruku said, that a lot of education is required about unconscious bias, because unconscious means that you are not aware of it, right? And suddenly it comes to your mind, right? And it could be on gender, it could be on hierarchy, it could be on female male bosses, etc. So we need to define some kind of guidelines. So we were very good about it, that we need to have a guideline, we need to talk about it, like, and especially in IT company you will find a lot of people from maybe Hyderabad, then Bangalore, then a lot of regionalism in the pockets, like I'm Bengali, then everybody will talk. So we always say that you should not do that, right? Consciously don't mix with them, so suddenly Northeast people will sit together, Bengalis will sit together, and they will keep looking for who's from my community. So these are the education we talk about. We do a lot of role plays as well, and we do have a lot of scenario. We just not talk about the paper and pen lecture, but we also give them scenarios, and they need to certify, they need to go for it, that yes, I understood and I acknowledge. Sometimes you need not be very just good that okay, be sensitive, etc. No, you need to say that I understood and I will follow it. So somewhere need to be disciplined about it. And again, I will talk about culture. It has to come from top. If I'm not demonstrating anything and I'm expecting juniors do that, it will not, they will laugh at me, right? So this is what I would like to say. And
Yeah. So I believe the last question for the evening, as in for the morning. So there was another person who wanted to ask a question, the lady sitting at the back. Yes, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Aditi, and my question is just related to my friend Ria. She was curious to know about the overcomes of the challenges, right? So my question is, what is the most challenges aspect of working in diverse environment, according to you all?
I will give you one good example. We were discussing, so mindset is the biggest challenge, and the acceptance.
The only challenge.
Huh. So Abhi, what happened that I was talking to someone, and she just said that one scenario that I was invited for a dinner, and she said, okay, I will go for that dinner. I'm talking with someone else, right? And a very beautiful example. And then she got to know that the invitation is from the LGBTQ community, and same gender, family people have invited her for a dinner. Now she said, what do I do? How will I go alone? And a lot of thoughts start coming in my mind, that is it good? What should I do? So why? When we are talking about DNI, and today she's a chairperson of something for DNI committee, and she had this dilemma. Should I go? Should I not go? What will happen? How will I be treated? What will I be doing? What people will tell me about it? So my submission that it is a mindset. When we are talking about embracing it, accept it, then what is wrong in it? If you think from other perspective, what is wrong in it? They're just good people, invited me for a dinner, I should go and I should come back. But you could think of a lot of thoughts came in your mind just because of the diversity issue.
So the biggest challenge is unconscious bias.
Correct. So biggest
It is in our mind.
Correct.
I would just like to add a practical example to what you just said. Biggest certainly is that mindset. You need to change. Other than that, plethora of challenges while honoring diversity, I would say. There was something very basic in every organization. Like women go through a cycle wherein you go on a maternity leave, and once we come back after that span, sometimes you have to take some leave before maternity also and after maternity. तो रहता ही है. So once the woman comes back, and if you are compared with your peers at the appraisal cycle, you are definitely not given the highest rating. आप तो थे ही नहीं 6 महीना. So the woman says कि we used to think a lot. अभी baby plan करना है नहीं करना है. It's something really something really, I think the best feeling, the best part of life to be a mother. But as a corporate woman, we have to think. मैं पीछे रह जाऊंगी अपने colleagues से. If I take a break of that 1 year, definitely मुझे appraisal में मुझे तो rating नहीं मिलेगा. Obviously, somebody has worked for a complete year. You have worked for 6 months. So what our organization has done, we got this feedback from women employees, and although किसी को नहीं लग रहा था कि something can be done about this. I know मैंने 6 months काम किया, मैं ही बोल रही हूँ कि मैंने 6 months काम किया, he's worked for 1 year, so definitely he should get that rating. I say this, but then when we shared this feedback, our management was so positive about it. Now in our organization, the policy has changed. The woman who is coming back after maternity, she is not made part of that bell curve. her boss has full right to give her the rating basis past 3 appraisals. So if she's a good performer, if she had been getting good rating in last 3 years, she'll be given good rating in that particular year as well, wherein now she's coming after maternity. So, mindset. You should be open to the feedback and open to
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I would like to ask a question, sir. All these students are freshers out here,
Right.
and they would be venturing into the corporate world another year or so.
Correct.
So, for them, how do we foster that environment that when they enter that world, they are given that equal chance and that platform that where they are valued as individuals, and they get that opportunity to grow. So, for them, what would be the message that what do they need to do at this level of their careers?
I think I'll answer.
Please, please.
So as an HR, what I will say is that, first of all, ma'am already answered your question, is mindset. So they should not have a mindset where they feel that I don't know वहाँ जाके क्या होगा. So every organization, when they do a campus interview or they do a campus selection, they already prepare themselves to welcome these sets of employees because their treatment is different from any other regular hiring, right? Rajeev, you will agree to it, right?
Yeah.
So we are already prepared. So the only thing that you have to decide that am I selecting the right company where I want to go? Am I selecting the right industry where I want to go? If yes, then go for it. Trust me, the organizations currently, all the organizations are well prepared to accept you, to give you opportunity, to give you a different, career path vis-a-vis regular employees. And you will find it when you will land up in the organization. So my suggestion is, don't think about anything else. Don't keep biases. Don't keep negative mindset. Just go for it.
So, just a thing to add. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So, understand that the way sir has rightly said that you need to identify the industry that you want to work with or a company that you want to work with, because please understand, if a company is coming to your college to recruit, they already have identified the kind of students they want to pick. So they are very clear and they are very sure that they're going to include you into their system, and not only include as in by giving a job, but they already have certain roles and responsibilities identified which they are expecting you to deliver once you start working. From there on, depending on the work given to you, vis-a-vis the kind of responsibilities that you take and how seriously do you take those responsibilities, is how you set your path to growth further in the organization or within the industry. So for that, you need to go with a thought process of understanding that you're getting a job and you need to give it your 100% once you are being observed or absorbed by an organization. So setting the expectations right, which is your expectation while sitting for an interview, we always expect that मेरे हिसाब से interview was झकास. I should not be getting anything less than 15 lakh rupees. Why do we think like that? As an interview went well, very good. You should be aware of that, what you said and what you've done for the interview or during the interview. But then already identifying, यार मैंने 20 लाख रुपए खर्चे हैं MBA करने के लिए from an XYZ institute, so मेरे को अगर 10-15 लाख से कम का तो बनता ही नहीं है job, मैं करूँगा ही, मैं करूँगी. Why? Why do we go with that kind of thought process or mindset? So we need to be absolutely open. So setting the expectations right is going to be the mantra for you. Now let me tell you, although I'm talking about Stone Age, but I was about to talk about the time when I started working. Yeah. So my first salary that I took, if I tell you, आप लोग को विश्वास भी नहीं होगा, किसी को भी नहीं होगा ये डाइस पे बैठे हुए. Because मैंने शुरू किया था with 500 rupees as the amount that I used to get monthly. Yes, exactly. So the lady's like,
People are like, इतना तो कॉफी पी लेते हैं.
कॉफी इतना तो मुझे यही नहीं याद आता कहाँ खर्चा है. कॉफी तो फिर पता है कहाँ खर्चा है. So guys, so what I'm trying to say here is, I got an opportunity to work with an industry which I really liked, which was construction. Yeah, and I was very very keen on, and I was starting from my, again, Stone Age से भी थोड़ा पहले की बात बताता हूँ, जब मैं स्कूल में था. So I got an opportunity when my parents told me कि 10th की छुट्टियाँ थी, summer vacations हुई, and parents ने बोला कि do something, कुछ करके देखो, कुछ different करके देखो, खेलते तो बहुत हो, क्रिकेट तो बहुत खेल लिया, फुटबॉल बहुत खेल लिया, वॉलीबॉल बहुत खेल लिया, कुछ थोड़ा सा कंस्ट्रक्टिव भी करके देखो कि चीजें कैसे होती हैं. And I happened to pick an article wherein it said कि Pepsi company is introducing their 1 liter bottle in the market. For that, young boys are required for a door-to-door campaign. And I immediately pounced onto that opportunity, went and sat for the interview and गॉट सेलेक्टेड. 20 दिन काम करने के बाद गर्मियों की छुट्टियों में मुझे पैसे दिए उन्होंने, जो मेरी कमाई थी. एंड दे वर सो स्मार्ट कि मैंने कमाए थे 480 रुपए 20 दिन में. हाँ, बहुत ज़्यादा थे वो उस टाइम के लिए. बट दे वर प्रोमोटिंग कि ऐसे यंग बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स शुड यू नो गेट आउट द हाउस एंड डू दिस. एंड उन्होंने मुझे पेमेंट की कैसे, 10-10 के नोटों में. तो वो इतने सारे बन गए. आई वाज सो थ्रिल्ड. You know, I went back home and I gave it to my parents, and my parents took me that evening to the market, and मैंने गोला शूज खरीदे थे नए. So that स्कूल खुलेंगे मैं अपने जूते डाल के जाऊंगा, मेरे खरीदे हुए. वो दिन के बाद से ऐसा हो गया था कि उसके बाद से अपनी ट्यूशन फीस और whatever I used to buy for myself, उसके बाद से till date I've never taken any money from my parents. Yeah. इतना अच्छा experience था वो. And that's when I started. So guys, अगर मैं भी यही सोचता कि and I was staying where? I was staying in a swanky house in a big bungalow in Lajpat Nagar, South Delhi. So door to door ऐसे जाना तो हमारी शान के खिलाफ है. किसने देख लिया तो क्या बोलेगा? यही आता है ना हम लोगों के दिमाग में. यार मैंने MBA किया है, मैं 10,000 की नौकरी कैसे करूँ? क्या बोलेंगे लोग? Mindset, right? So जब आप when you're asking questions like what are the biggest challenges that you face? The biggest challenges as a corporate, as a company we face is when we meet young people who've got the right kind of talent, but they're not ready to start from initial stage that they have to start with. They expect to start from the middle management, which is not possible, guys. And not having the right kind of mindset delays their opportunities and the opportunities that they get in their lifestyle. Yeah.
Look for the right job, you know.
Absolutely.
And see your synergy between your skills, your background, and what kind of job they're offering you. Don't look for as precious as money at all. Money will follow you in case when you have right job, you have the right skills, you are developing well yourself, right? So keep on thinking of your developing, how you can develop yourself, what skills you need to bring in your portfolio. That's very important. Keep working on that. And second, I talk to a lot of students. I only say one thing. So whenever I talk to them as a kind of mock interview, they don't know themselves. They will just say what they will praise me, and which is I detect that you're all lying. I said first you say what you are, what you would like to do with your heart, and then we will pick you up. If you have not done, say I have not done this, but I would like to. Some say, oh no, I have done this, I have done that. I know that they have not done at all, and we can detect in a minute.
Okay.
But they are rejected. And the moment you are more truthful to yourself and to the interviewer, you will crack it. We look for your quality, we look for your potential. If you are a fresher, I am looking for a potential, not that what you have done. Sometimes I see a lot of CVs without passing, they will write a lot of experience, I have done this, that. They don't count at all to me. What I am looking for, that are you really conceptually well, what you have studied or not? Have you done studies well or not? How thorough you are? Give some good examples of your internship and summer internship, etc. That's very important. That's what we will ask you. That's it.
Yeah, I think the other point, ma'am, to your, what I realized is that in the colleges, and I was talking to you, right, I've done my BBA and I've been affiliated with the Guru Gobind Singh University as well. Every organization, goals are one part, which is technical, right? They could go into HR and then they'll have a key set of KRAs, which is key result areas. But then there are competencies, right? So for example, at Walmart, we have goals, we have competencies. When I'm judged at the end of the year, I'm not judged on what things I did, कि मैंने 1 million की saving करी, मैंने 100 PO raise करे, मैंने 2 दिन में raise कर दिए. That is 50% of my rating. The other 50% of my rating usually is my competencies. Now what are competencies? Qualities, like he said, being authentic. So for example, I'm taking Walmart example because I work there, is adaptability, resilience, change management. So 50% is all these competencies which you also need to focus on. So institutes should also probably focus on not just the technical piece of clearing an interview and technical knowledge, whatever you need for that particular job, but also the competencies of a person that they play an equally important role. In fact, in your interviews, your competency plays a more important role subconsciously than your technical qualifications. I am okay with somebody who's not technically a 10 on 10, right? I'm okay with somebody who's a technically 6 on 10, but competencies wise, if he's a 10 on 10 or a 9 on 10 or whatever, I will definitely go for that. So focus on your competencies, and maybe the institutes can do something in terms of trainings where you focus on competency training, not just skill training.
So same thing when some of you may like to go for UPSC. Irrespective of what your are you an HR person or a marketing or a finance person? But UPSC will give you a proper training. And but still, when you, even if in banks or any public sector thing you go, you will be identified on your competencies, as Rupu and Rajiv were saying. And people, leaders will definitely pick up and they will identify you and they will create a talent pool. And because I'll just give you an example, like engineering college. Engineering students will appear for clerical exam, for officers exams, for LIC, everywhere, because there are so many engineering colleges. But believe me, if you are good at your work, as Rajiv was saying, the IT department of these public sector entities will pick you up and put you in that department if you are good at your work. So work on your competence.
Absolutely.
Amazing. What a session this has been. True to its name, Manthan, the session today has contributed to churning of knowledge and the molding of minds. We had some very strategic takeaways around the theme of diversity, equity, and inclusion at workplace around the points of that diversity, equity, and inclusion are the fingers of the same hand. Wonderful to know about Seema ma'am playing a part in running a training program for 3 lakh postmen. As per Parikshat sir, we need to start addressing the unconscious bias. And as very well put up by Ruku ma'am, that human beings are like to be treated in a certain way, which indicatively speaks of the world environment. And as said by Manisha ma'am, it needs to be dil se, else it is nothing more than just a tick mark. We learned about Abha model as well as by Ruku ma'am. As per Arnab sir, as he supported the discussion from a corporate standpoint, and wonderfully quoted by Rajiv sir that mindset is the biggest challenge. So to conclude, understand the essence of diversity, equity, and inclusion, not just the meaning.
Can we clap for you both?
We would like to thank our esteemed guests for taking out time for the panel discussion. We are sure that the participants would have gained tremendously. We have realized today that diversity and inclusion are two interconnected concepts, but they are far from interchangeable. Diversity focuses on representation or the makeup of an identity. Inclusion is about how well the contributions, presence, and perspectives of different groups of people are valued and integrated into an environment. The learnings have been invaluable. We would like to thank Dean Madam for guiding us towards organizing an event as insightful as this. We also extend a hearty thanks to all our participants who kept the discussions alive and interesting with their active presence. With this, we come to the end of Manthan 6.0. You shall soon receive a feedback form. We would appreciate it if you could spare 5 minutes towards filling the form and provide your valuable feedback. Thank you everyone, and let's stay connected. The future is full of possibilities. Now, I would like to request all our student coordinators to kindly escort the dignitaries towards the conference room. Thank you all. Good day.